She's got that really, yeah.
I got it. Thank you.
Amy goes, "Is that a monster?" She goes, "Yes." I'm pretty scared. Listen to it.
What's that?
Hope the boys are coming.
It's a monster? Yes. It's pretty scared.
Oh, I love it.
I'm pretty scared.
That's hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
The Red Sox are coming off a win in their previous game. Hi, and welcome to MVP Baseball. This is Dwayne Kuiper with Mike Krukow. Should be a great night for a ball game. Taking the mound to start for the home team, Pedro Martinez. This matchup features the Detroit Tigers and the Boston Red Sox. Here's the game's first batter, Johnny Estrada. This batter absolutely destroys right-handed pitching.
I brought you guys.
And that pitch starts the game.
He's registered 6 wins and 2 losses this season.
Yes. Flavored sawdust.
Is that a good explanation? Is that a good
Matthew, will you please take her?
Leah's got to have one.
Oh,
Yes.
I think.
No.
So Dale Jr. is passing
Future
out.
husband can try.
He's got basically.
Oh no, he's obsessed with stuff.
So for those listening at home, Dale Jr. has a big tub of shredded beef jerky. The beef jerky is in these cans, like these little snuff cans. And now he's throwing them across the room.
Good commentary.
All right, everybody's got one.
Alex Sanchez.
All right.
This southpaw is a C-plus hitter
I still
against
have
right-handed pitching.
25 left.
Thanks, Dale.
You guys are so welcome.
I'm so thankful.
You guys are so welcome.
Is that the tub that you have
And a
in your
breaking
truck,
ball
or does that
down
come
low.
from the house?
This comes from the house.
Strikes out
Okay.
about 7 per 9 innings. So
share.
pretty impressive
Okay.
total. So thoughtful.
Thank you.
Is it unscrewed?
You gotta take your razor sharp thumbnail and open it. Cut the paper. Shred it. Shred the paper.
Swear that smells. Oh my god, it smells awful.
Look,
It smells like jerky.
Hey, Dale, look at Dustin right now. Do that again.
Dustin,
I
it's
look.
good, eh?
No, do what you just did.
That's how you eat it. That's how you eat it.
It's 2 and 2.
Like he's a chihuahua eating food out of a can.
Business.
That's the easiest way to eat it. What's the point of just cut the middleman out, which is your hand.
Terrific at bat right
Get
here.
straight in.
Tongue in it, or do you dump it in your mouth?
And now
Well-
it's a full count.
Shredded beef jerky. Look, there you go.
He's got a taste test coming up. Matthew Jones. What do you think? It's weird.
Gathers it in with his glove. That's out number 2.
Oh,
Martinez made it look easy on that
It-
first guy.
Seriously, a lot of
dirty
bitter-
jokes being
It's
said out there.
unusual.
That would
This
really
righty
make the
feast on
already
right-handed
chewed
pitching.
feature more realistic. If it
As you get it,
Strike call. No balls
mixes
and
in
one
with your
strike.
saliva, it actually tastes pretty good. Because I like beef jerky, the flavor, so it tastes like beef jerky. It's just
It
weird
is
texture. at
beef
first.
jerky.
On the
That's
ground
why
to
it tastes
third.
that way. Anyone else?
Jerky
Gonna try
chew.
it?
It says jerky
He's
chew.
on first with a base hit.
Come on, Leah.
Next
did
up,
Leah, are you trying to
Leah,
open
send
it?
it.
No, I was reading like.
Okay,
Here's a
just
guy
don't
who
be
can
silly.
hold
We're gonna
his
wait on
own
you.
against
Don't be
Don't be
right-handed
silly,
pitching.
just send it.
I'm actually impressed that they're, I can pronounce almost all the ingredients.
No balls, 1 strike.
He's throwing
I
75
think-
pitches.
I think
have
I'll
it.
save
You
this.
want
I
me
think
to
I'll
own
save
this
this.
guy
and
with a
take
season
it.
high
Mike,
325.
Hit towards the shortstop.
I got faith.
Take your fingernail.
Got
Give
him.
me the mic.
James is
Here's the
mentioning
home
his.
team lineup.
Camera people are eating jerky.
Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Starting on the hill for the
Casey
visiting
Schultz
team,
hasn't
Jeremy
eaten his.
Bonderman.
Schultz don't look like he's gonna be eating this.
It's tough to get in.
Come on, damn it. Schultz,
Take your fingernails.
some damn jerky.
Go around in a circle.
Hey, while I do this, it should be noted, Jack Links isn't exactly a sponsor of our show or anything. You know, people that think this is
Stepping
a
in,
deal.
Johnny
Not a
Dickman.
big deal.
This is all free. Although the Jack Links people did reach out to us and said,
One
thank
ball
you.
and no strikes.
All right.
We like what we like.
I like this
I'm gonna pour it in. I'm not doing
Do what
it.
you're gonna do. Do it.
Inside.
Oh gosh.
Sometimes you try to make a hill chase your goal. That's exactly what you saw right there.
Fastball for a strike.
Think of the Jack Links, folks.
142 innings this season.
You just
Against
ruined the
batters
deal.
are hitting a respectable average of 288.
Think of the future deal we had.
It blew me.
Free jerky forever.
Now, listen, I love beef jerky, but this is sawdust, man.
Takes the walk.
Wait.
In fact, the pitcher had a
I'm
chance
not-
to end
how
that
long do I gotta wait?
just
Well, you
flat
dumped
out
a big
outbattled him.
pile of it in your mouth.
Once it gets wet, it's good.
This lefty batter is
I've swallowed it
refining
now,
his
and I'm still
swing
waiting
against
for it
ready
to
pitching.
No. What good is
First
that?
pitch a
You
bit
might as well
low.
just-
He's tallying 10 wins and
Beef
6
jerky
losses so far.
is good without shredding.
And a
I
strike.
like that way also. He's eating his.
Oh, Mark Draymond.
He's eating his at a very moderate
2 balls
pace.
and 1 strike.
Whereas Mike
He throws a good
Try to
four-seam
pile-
fastball, a good
will
slider,
pile it in.
and a two-seam.
Mike, what are you doing?
You don't put the whole can in your mouth.
2 balls
How could that
and 2
be
strikes.
enjoyable in any way?
That was look like a huge bite.
Here's the pitch.
You're talking to me like you're an expert in how
Into
much
right
beef,
field.
shredded beef jerky is supposed to go in.
No, I'm not.
You have no
I'm
idea.
washing it down
And
with
puts it
Twix.
away for the out.
I'm eating a Twix afterwards.
Of course, yes. That's such a great thing to wash it down with. Wash down. Well, that's what everyone washes everything down with.
He delivers.
Twix bar.
Ain't no chaser like a
Strike
Twix
called
chaser.
at the letter.
Man.
Well, the second bite was better than the first. Maybe it was just my body going, what the hell culture
Yeah.
And on
consistency
3
is it?
pitches, he's gone.
It doesn't,
All right.
it didn't know.
Up next, Lance Berkman.
Wasn't sure about how you guys
Here's a
felt
guy that
about us
understands
saying
hitting,
red.
and it shows.
Bothering me.
Fastball
We're sitting
for
here
a
eating
strike.
shredded beef jerky and
righty
we're worried about what people might say if
Well,
we say
Ultimate
redneck.
segue.
All right.
Just
So
got some wood on it.
Will Cronkite. All right. Will Cronkite has wrote a book, and it's called NASCAR Redneck. I was a NASCAR redneck. He says these are the recollections of the transformation of the Yankee farm boy to a southern redneck in the golden era of NASCAR and beyond. The foreword in this book is by Humpy Wheeler.
After 1 inning, this contest is
I have
tied.
read some excerpts, I guess, what you call them.
Here's a
And,
guy who's a decent hitter.
Dad drove a car for Wheel in 1978. We had it right here on the table. Right here. Actually, I think I would credit this particular car and Wheel for really giving Dad the opportunity to show what he
And a
could do.
strike
Had
on the
a
inside
couple
corner.
good runs, and he was able to run multiple
Here's the
events in
0-2 pitch.
1978 with Wheel. But I can't wait
There's a
to read
close
this book.
pitch
I
called
just
the
got
ball.
it today. I don't forget where I saw where I could order this, but I put my order in, and it's a.
And a breaking
Just
ball
wanted to
down
give
low.
Will a little.
Sometimes you try to make the hitter
And
chase your
a little
pitch.
signed
That's exactly
postcard in
what you
here
saw
with
right
him
there.
and my father.
Got him with the slider.
Even right
Hey,
at the
Kai, he was
page,
able to get ahead in the count. The
217,
batter
first
never
base
caught
racing.
up. Good strikeout.
Did I tell y'all about any of this? Did I read this?
No.
Hold on 1 second.
Next at the plate,
Really
Marcus
cool
Giles.
spot in here that
The
I
pitch.
thought was pretty damn incredible. Will
It's
talks
hit out
about
to center.
when they learned that they would be racing
Damon makes the
together.
catch for the out.
Dad came over to his shop, okay, to fit the seat. All right. It was so he's coming over. Dad's coming over to Will's shop
Lazy
in
fly to center
1978
field.
to fit the seat
Should
in
be
his
an
car.
easy
Dad
play.
is getting
Did a
the
nice pitch there to get the fly
opportunity
ball. Nice work.
to race this car. at
Heading
Charlotte.
into the bottom
One
of the
best cars
second.
that
No
he's-
score here.
One of the best cars by far that he's probably had a chance to drive in the Cup Series. So I'll just start here. It was a 45-minute. It was 55
And a strike.
miles from Dale's house to my shop, and he arrived in 45 minutes. He arrived.
Comes up a little bit
He
short.
arrived in an old blue pickup with a small boy. sitting
Good
on
start
his
to the inning. A leadoff single.
When we got out of the truck, he went around to the passenger side door, rolled down the window, closed the door so that the boy could look out and watch what we were doing.
The next batter is
I
Trot
was
Nixon.
expecting to
This guy
have
isn't
to add
great
some
against
padding
right-handed
to make the
pitching.
seat
He does
fit
all right.
someone who was clearly smaller than
Strike
the
with a
before,
fastball.
Buddy Baker. And maybe
Infield's gotta think about
relocate the
playing a
seat
double play
somewhat
depth right
by
now.
re-drilling some mounting holes and maybe add a bracket or two.
Low
something.
strike with the slider.
4 hours of
His
adjustments
strongest
later, I'm
pitch
not
is the
exactly
four-seamer.
smiling, as we had not only made all of the
Fuchsia.
aforementioned modifications, we had made a new seat frame, assembly, and cut and lowered the
Got him
floorboard
for
of the
the
car,
out. He
which
reaches with a
resulted in
one-out
the seat
single.
being both lower and
Miyagi
further.
strolls to the plate.
A nice new race car. had weld and grind marks all
He
over
missed
the
the
floor.
strike
and
zone
the
with a
stomach was sore
100
from
mile per
climbing
hour
in and out of the
heater.
car.
He's got a
Once
handful
in a
of
while,
pitches to choose from.
as I was struggling with something, I would look up and he would display that Cheshire
Bonderman throws his
cat to
strike
him,
with a
and without
fastball.
speaking, hand me a wrench or climb in the other
He
window.
delivers.
We both had worked up the
comes up
sweat
a
and had
little
been
bit
at it
short.
for more than 4 hours, taking time off only to get a drink. As Dale went to check on the small boy,
He's on first
who
with a
had kept
base
quiet,
hit.
but who had kept a quiet but constant vigil on our progress. And all the while he watched, his nose was running, and because he was
Next up,
continuously
Mike
pressed
Lowe.
against the grass, there were a number
Here's a
of
right-handed
cracks
hitter
running
that
down
has
the
moderate
door
success
glass.
against right-handed.
I do not recall him speaking, but he was always at the window when I looked over at him. Wow, that was me.
Wow.
Isn't that
Out of
cool?
the zone, that's a ball.
That is
It's
amazing.
that he remembers that.
Yeah, right?
Chase your beats. That's
Daddy
exactly
took
what you
me
saw right there.
to, I guess
balls,
Daddy
no
probably had
strikes.
nowhere else to
This
put me.
guy's a horse.
So
Every
I
time
had
he
to
goes
probably
out,
go,
you
but,
expect him to
I
get
bet you
7 or
don't.
8 strong
Hell,
hits.
I was
So that
4
is-
years old.
What is so
Gets the
interesting is
call
that
for
when
a
you get to
strike.
be able to have this little glimpse into something you don't remember,
Had
but
no
man,
idea.
is that not a cool little depiction of you at 4 years old that you otherwise would never
But he has
get?
room for a
I'm just
play.
glad that I was
Those
a
are the
mind.
kind of
I'm
plays that got
Right. You didn't know how that story was going to end up. The next chapter could have been the part where the boy was unruly, and that was the end of
Yeah,
Dale Earnhart's career with
yeah.
him because he didn't want to have that kid come back around the
didn't
shop.
have to
They
get
may
the
not
belt.
want to run.
Yeah,
Right
right.
fielder's got a cannon
I
for
felt
him.
sorry for that kid after that whooping he took.
Right? All right. Let's
He's
get
on with a single.
Get on with the show. All right, before we bring in our guest, let's talk about flossing.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Quip,
A lot of
quip,
people
quip,
getting nervous
quip,
in here.
Quip is back. Quip is back.
David digs in at the plate.
They've been with us for a while, and you know Quip, they have the electric toothbrush.
Yeah.
Painted the black on the outside
Hear about
edge.
it all the time. But they also have their sleek, reusable floss pick that you'll want to use.
Yeah, man. The floss pick.
Flossing, man, I'll be honest. I'm going to clean here. Not a huge flosser most of my life, but
The left
as I got
fielder
older,
makes
it's
the
almost
catch.
like flossing become a necessity. Now, I want to floss, need to floss all the time, and not
After 2
just
innings,
anything
the
works.
game is scoreless.
But
Oh,
the
man.
toothpicks don't do it for me anymore.
They don't.
No.
Oh, I like them.
Well, see, you're not supposed to because you're supposed to
school.
like this. No. Old school.
And
You
the
like
pitch.
a
So I need to
toothpick with
go.
soap.
'cause
You know what?
It looks cool.
Quit
The pitch is
brushing your
hit to
teeth
center
altogether.
field.
That's really That's like George
I need
Washington.
to get this
the
quick
out.
floss right now.
Get
'cause I
some
just
wooden
ate
teeth.
chicken.
You love old school? Get some wooden teeth.
Maybe you already got them.
I do love my quip, but yeah, I guess I do need to get this thing, Dale. You're right.
Hit towards the
No, you done
shortstop.
messed up.
Yeah.
You
He's
just
so hard
And he's
hit.
out.
doesn't like
I'm
this.
old school.
Estrada.
How do you live with yourself?
I don't use floss. Fancy old floss.
That steak biscuit is just going to stay there. It's just going to stay where I put it.
Yeah,
in
I'm
between my molars.
I'm going to go through 5 toothpicks and unsuccessfully
Ground ball to the
remove
first baseman.
that jerky.
That takes
But I'm
care of
old
the
school.
side.
So, anyways,
After 2.5,
I'm
no score
flossing
here.
a lot more these days, and I've you got your own floss at home, and it's a different type of sort of I don't know. It's not. Maybe it's
for a
thicker. It's
strike.
not as thick. You go to the dentist, they use something else.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like it. I like kind of
Driven
trying
to
to
center
find the
field.
floss that's comfortable, that fits in between my teeth, that gets the
He's
stuff out.
rounding first.
It's doing a good job of cleaning in between my teeth.
A
And
double.
what I've found with Quip is some stuff I really like.
All right.
And the fact that they will ship it to my house, I know I'm getting the same. I'm not like, because you'll go to your dentist, right? And they send you home with
There's
something,
strike
right?
one.
So you throw that in a drawer.
Yep.
And then your wife buys something. And next thing you know, you got 6 different types here. Some are good, some are falling apart.
Some have been there for 4
And
years.
then you reach in there and you pull out, and it's not enough. It's like 3 inches of floss left.
Oh, man, you're preaching to the choir
And
here.
in 3
So
pitches, he's
all
gone.
of that can be avoided.
He gets strike one. He just keeps plowing
The
away
durable
to strike.
handle
Next at the
is
plate,
easy to guide.
Lance
It
Berkman.
restrings with a click.
There's
And
a
it comes
strike.
with a compact mirror dispensing case to be on the
Here it
go.
comes.
That's nice.
Plus, a single
Pops one
refill
up.
pod replaces over 180 single-use plastic
He
flossers.
makes the catch.
Oh, that means because you always see those things laying around on the ground.
This is going to be a fun one.
Plus, so let me just finish this
For a
up.
strike.
So the little the plastic floss pick things where it's got the little, it's like a little C-shaped thing with a little string, and you go, ugh, that is the grossest thing. It used to gross me the hell out.
Yeah.
I see those things and people using them.
He dives and makes a fantastic catch.
Flossing to me is kind of a very gross.
I don't like the sound of people flossing.
I don't know what that is. I've never heard anyone floss. I don't know. I've not made
sound.
It's like
Oh
a
yeah,
pick.
it's that picking.
Pick, yep.
Oh.
It's I'm with
Leading
Mike.
off, Alex
I don't know that
Sanchez.
I've ever heard a sound from flossing. I'm over toothpicks because they don't get in there and get it done.
Pulled to the
Don't do
right
the job.
side. He flips it to the
The
pitcher
little
covering.
funky pick floss things that you just
retire
use
him
once and
easily.
toss are disgusting. Flossing is a very personal, private matter, and not something I want to see someone doing at the dinner table.
I'll tell you,
or
partner, this
restaurant,
pitcher's got to be
or
careful.
as
with
they're
this guy.
walking
He's got great
to
wheels
get
that
their
can turn a single into
paying
a
their
double
bill.
with ease.
That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, well, I think I share that one with you.
The pitch is taken out to right.
So I really dig this.
Nixon puts it
A
away.
business
Got a good
such as
jump
Quip
on the
that wants
ball
to
for
ship
that
you
guy underneath
the
it.
floss
Easy play.
on a regular basis, and it's like
Two outs and
it's this
nobody
cool
on.
little refill unit. So they'll send you the refill pod replacements. It's better for your teeth, and it's also better for the environment. Not a pick person, that's okay. I'm not. Quip also has refillable floss string that expands to clean. Now look at some of that, man. Getting some places where you've never gotten
Ian
before.
looks at a ball.
Especially with my tooth.
1-2.
I'm telling
Sometimes
you,
you try to make the hit
I don't
chase
even want to
your
be
picks. That's exactly
watching
what you saw right there.
you when you
So I'm fired if I don't switch.
I'm not even
bottom of
watching
the
you when you
fourth.
floss
No
with
score
stuff.
here.
You
I don't
don't be
want
pulling stuff out there. It's been in there
Damn
for years.
ham biscuit and freaking
Yeah,
chicken.
Next batter
your
is
toothpicks
Nixon.
weren't reaching those places. Our listeners
Down
are
low
gross.
for a ball.
Yeah.
Totally gross.
Not just your listeners.
Pair your floss with the perfect
taken for a
electric
ball.
toothbrush.
Sometimes you
They
try
have
to
them
make
for
the hit
adults and
chase your
kids.
picks. That's exactly
Quip has
what you
these
saw
simple
right there.
guided features you like. Time
ball,
sonic
one strike
vibrations
count.
with guided pulses that help you brush better. There are different flavored toothpastes and even 9 different custom colors to choose from. Now we're talking. Mike and Matthew have Quip Smart electric
He hits a
toothbrushes
grounder the other way
themselves.
to the left
And I
side.
bet you guys are really cleaning your teeth really well.
Yeah,
I need that
The
floss.
throw is not in time.
Quip delivers a brush
They
head
needed a big
floss
hit like that. This guy's
for
got things
Matthew.
going. What a good piece of hitting. He got
That's
himself a
accurate.
double.
and toothpaste refills, all right? Every 3 months from $5.
okay.
Shipping is free.
This
So you can
lefty
save
struggles
money.
at
Skip the
times
store.
against right-handed
I love that
pitching.
deal. And if you go to getquip.com/Dale Jr. right now, you'll get the first refill for free. That's your first refill free at getquip.com/Dale Jr.
There's a
And
line
it's spelled
drive.
GETQUIP.com/Dale Jr.
Strike three
Quip.
sends him back
Better.
to the dugout
Oral.
with nothing
Help.
to show for that
Hey,
AB.
simple.
Next up, Mike Lowe.
All right, you guys ready to bring in our guest, Chad Canals?
Yeah, how do you want to do it? Right.
Well, just we're going to open the
Have
door
him
and he's
walk
going to come in.
like we always do. It's not everything.
Jimmy Johnson through 3 and 4. Make room. Richard Petty and Dale Earnhardt. There's another 7-time champ. Jimmy Johnson wins his 7th NASCAR Sprint Cup championship. He's got it for the out. And he's safe. Just I don't even know what to say. Nice pitch there to get the fly. He's up there in search of his second hit of the game.
Man, I am so proud of you. I'm so proud of you. You're a good man. You're a great champion. Now you're a 7-time champion, brother.
Hey,
Hey, man.
come on in.
Everybody.
This is like
A three-pitch
where we have to
strikeout.
have our masks off. It's like we don't even want to leave these chairs.
Right. We weren't even going to do a show this year, but this is the part where you can take your mask off. So we said, heck, let's just do the show. Let's just keep doing this thing.
24/7.
All right,
Yeah.
so Chad Canals, it's awesome to have you in the room.
Man, glad to be here. I really am.
How did this happen? Like the Chad Canals from 10 years ago would have never came on my show because it's a Tuesday and there's work to be done.
Well, it's a little different time, right?
Is that true, first of all? Chad from
Yeah.
10 years ago would not have come on the Dale Jr. Download on a
He'd have
Tuesday.
said, I ain't got time for it.
Well, I would have said maybe after work, but
Unless
no,
maybe
not middle of the day. no way.
if you'd won the past Sunday, you might
Might
have
have
been in a
done
good
that.
enough
I've done
mood.
that. Yeah, it wasn't a personal thing. Like I can tell you that. No, it was just we were working. We're working. There's stuff to do, and there still is stuff to do, and I don't want to downplay, this,
Sure.
how serious we still are, with the 24,
Right.
with one more race,
One
but
more race.
right, one more race. But man, I felt like it was a good opportunity, and honestly, the reason why I haven't done this before is because I was never asked.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yeah, see, he turned it around.
He turned it back on you, I
He does
think.
that. He does
That's
that.
on you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So Chad, man, you have a really awesome history with your family and how you came up through the sport. And I mean, most people, I won't give them a lot of credit. I'm gonna assume that they know you as Jimmy's crew chief and the 7-time champion, one of the best crew chiefs. Let's just go ahead and say it. One of the best that's ever done it. But there's a lot more there, right? And that's kind of what this show is all about. So talk to me about what's your first memory of seeing a car, racing? What's the first time you remember going, oh, man, that's neat? Or
Yeah.
has it always been, were you born into it?
I was, Dale, and not someone like you, honestly. My father, like you may or may not know this, but my father drove late models and race cars up in the Midwest, and he was driving before I was born. So, late 60s, and I was born in 71, and I got really cool pictures of him with, old steel-bodied cars with a roll cage and the doors ripped off of it, and he's out at a dirt track at Freeport, Illinois Speedway, racing it up. And he was a guy, man. He was racing up there, and he was doing pretty good, racing with guys like Dick Trickle, Tom Reffner, Joe Shear, Larry Deachins, just Junior Hanleys and all those cats up there. I mean, cool dudes, right? And I can remember going to the racetrack with my dad, and my grandparents had an old Monte Carlo, and I would hop in the back when I was young because I would spend the summers with my father. My father and my mother were divorced, and I would just trek along the back of the Monte Carlo and go follow my dad to the racetracks. One of my neatest experiences memories I just popped into my head. I can remember laying on my dad's creeper on he was on his back, and I was laying on his belly looking up, and he gave me a spray can, a rattle can of paint, and he had just welded a bar on there. He said, all right, go ahead and paint that. Man, I could have been 4 or 5 years old maybe, and I remember I was like, shh, and I sprayed that, and it ran all over. He's like, no, you're doing it all wrong. I did everything wrong for the next 10 or 15 years. But
What was your dad like?
Oh, man, my dad's...
We're starting from a point of knowing you.
Yeah.
So if any type of comparisons, like from you to him, help us understand who he was.
My dad was a great race car driver, man. He was really good, and, his personality is very, very quiet kind of guy. I'm much more outgoing than what he was, for sure. More of a reserved, very focused, very, very detail-oriented guy when it comes especially to his race cars. So much so. And he was really looked up upon in the Midwest in his heyday. Really good dude when it comes to that standpoint. Our relationship really wasn't the ideal father-son relationship. Well, I really started working on his cars at a young age and being a pretty significant part of the team. And we kind of transitioned that way more. That was our element. That's where we really worked out well. I bounced around a little bit between my mom and my dad and whatnot. So with him, it was like, look, we're gonna go work on the race car, and that's like our spot. Does that make sense? That was our comfort zone. And when we kind of got out of there, we were a little awkward. Still are to this day a little awkward when we get out there.
So what was your? Did you drive?
A little bit, not much. I wasn't very good.
Talk about that.
I wasn't very good.
I want to know what was your first race?
First race would have been an enduro at Rockford Speedway. How's that? Number 189, baby.
Number 189. You got a tattoo somewhere of 189. Don't lie.
Right on the right cheek. Yeah, so that was my first one. No. Well, that was my first official. I subbed in another one. I remember this. I subbed in another one, and it went a half lap. I was half lap canals. So what they did for a while, that was me. What they did is they'd run this enduro around Rockford, and the hoodies, right? Street stocks. And if it got boring, what they do, they turn the hose on coming out of turn 2. Got to get some action for the fans. I remember I came out of there. I came off turn 2. I was like 13, maybe 12 or something like that. right down back straightaway. It was awful.
Half lap. But they turned the hose on, so that's a little unfair for somebody in their first race.
Still pretty ridiculous. But anyway, so that was it. And, some other small stuff. I really got into motorcycles, man. That was my big thing.
Really?
Yeah.
What kind? Like street bikes or dirt bikes?
No, like road racing. That's what I really enjoyed doing.
Really?
Yeah.
So what do you mean got into that? What was your
So we used to street race a lot.
Like you were on the bike, you're riding the bike.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you as a crew chief mechanic.
Well, I was doing that, but I really like racing motorcycles. And we would do it on the street, around,
Illegally.
Yeah, don't tell anybody.
I don't know.
This ain't going out
anywhere,
I didn't know
if you went to an official race.
Well, I did some of that as well.
Really?
Yeah, man. Yeah, that was my deal.
Unbelievable. Do you have any pictures of you racing back then? But you had the leathers and all that?
Oh, yeah, baby.
Oh, my God. Can you believe that? That's pretty damn scary.
Yeah, it was fun,
Yeah,
man.
this is the crazy stuff. Like the stuff that you're
I
like,
didn't know
only
you were
insane
that.
people do this.
I didn't know you were that kind of.
I wasn't that good, but I did all right.
I know, but I didn't know you were that, like, thrill seeker.
Man, that's what I did. I loved motorcycles. Loved it. We used to race. Man, I hope this doesn't come back to get me. Do you know what a cloverleaf on a highway is?
Yeah.
All right, so what we would do is you'd go down the highway and you race for $200, $300, $400, $500, whatever it is, and you'd be going down the highway, tacking along at about 50, and you get to a line and both guys would go, and you'd race up to the cloverleaf. You go around and around and around and around and back till you got back to the starting spot, and whoever got there first won. That's how we all started, man.
How did you do that? How did you do that with, like, how did you avoid traffic and so forth?
Yeah, we did most of the time at night.
Right. Okay. Racing in the middle
Still,
of the night.
there's still traffic at night.
Well,
Probably not that much.
You got to evade, that's part of the thrill.
That's another level of insanity that I didn't think that those bike racers could do, but he just did it on Cloverleaf.
Yeah, I've never seen him do anything like what. I mean, is there anything else that, like, thrill seeker?
No, I mean,
that's pretty wild.
I snowboard, do that. I like that.
Still.
Oh yeah, love it.
So where are you with bikes?
Now, so here's what happened with that. So Ken House, who at the time was director of competition at Hendrick Motorsports, I sat down to sign my contract, and I was like, man, I'd like to keep racing my motorcycle. I really enjoy it. And he's
Wait,
like,
when you signed your deal at HMS, you're still messing with your bike?
Yeah.
This is so funny because we know Ken House, so I could see this conversation coming.
He's like, I'm like, look, if you guys don't mind, I want to keep racing my motorcycle when I can. And he's like, absolutely, and he's an enthusiast, man. He loves that, motorcycles and Formula One and NASCAR and all that. And he said, he looked me dead in the eye. And he said, but you need to realize, you get hurt, somebody will do your job. That was the last time I rode.
Yeah.
That was it. I never rode again. I got maybe 15 miles on a bike after that. That's it. And I put everything into, just like what you were talking about earlier, is the race team for 48. That's all I focused on for all those years.
Well, help me understand how you got from the Midwest, working with your dad's car and all that, to NASCAR.
Yeah, so we were racing up there quite a lot. And
up where?
Up in Illinois, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Iowa, Ohio, all those places up there, right? And man, a lot of great racers, man. The names are just phenomenal. The folks we used to race against back then. And I can remember watching on TV, and I was actually at my buddy's house, and we were racing at the Short Track Championships at Rockford Speedway. And I was staying at his house, and we were watching an old race. And it was actually, we were talking about your dad. And Kirk Shelmerdine and those guys, and I was like, man, I cannot wait to get the opportunity to be crew chief on a Cup car. And he's like, what? I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I'm doing it. And he's like, no way, really? And I said, yeah. And he's like, I'll tell you what, I'll do whatever I can to help you. And his name was Jimmy Lauder, and he actually loaned me $1,000 to try to get me stable so I could get down here. And my aunt and uncle lived in Lumberton, North Carolina, which is just not too far away, from about an hour and a half east. And I called them up and I said, hey, I want to get down to North Carolina to go racing. Can I come down and stay with you guys? And they said, yeah. So they came up shortly after I graduated high school, only a few days. And I packed up everything I had in a little U-Haul trailer. We put it behind their Ford Taurus wagon and drove it down. It was a motorcycle. Of course, a black and white TV and a basket of clothing. That's really all I had. A little small U-Haul, like that 8-foot long U-Haul. Like everything I owned was in that. I lived with them, and I tried to get on with the Cup team. And
how did you go about doing that?
Well, so like I had mentioned, we raced with a lot of cool folks. Alan Quickie, Mark Martin, Rusty Wallace, a lot of those guys. And Mark was fantastic through this period of my life because I was doing, I just needed people. Like I didn't know who to talk to. I knew some guys that worked owned a trucking company, Barrett's or Barnett's or something like that at that point. I knew that guy, so I was trying to use him to get some influence on a race team. But I would call Mark weekly on a Monday, be like, hey, anything open over there yet? You got any opportunities? So we were chatting, and he was passing me along to different folks. Alan Quickie. At that point, I actually had an opportunity to go to work with him, and it was great. It was going awesome. I was like, man, this is my shot with Alan. But what happened was he lost Xerox that same year.
So when you so when you go over to work at Allen's,
but I did.
Said you never made it.
Never made it. He lost a sponsor, and he called me up. He's like, "Look, I don't know if I'm going to have a deal next year, so I don't have anything for you." So that was pretty painful. So I lost that shot, and went on and on and on, and I kept on saying, "This is funny." So Larry was at King Racing, Larry McReynolds. I had sent him a letter and a resume and all that. Wrote me back, which I still have the letter. Said, sorry, young man, you're not qualified to come to work for us. Did the same thing with Hammond, but he was a Sabco. And he said, no, we don't need you. You're not qualified enough. And I got both those letters still.
But at least they replied.
They did. They were the only two that really replied.
What were you wanting to do? Probably anything, but like you had to have like expertise. You had to have like, this is where I'd love to get. I'd love to work on this piece.
No, not back then, man. Back then it was you did it all, right? You did it all. You did everything. You did body work. You painted. You mechanicked. You changed tires. You welded. You drove the transporter to and from. You did it all, and that's what I did, and that's how I learned with my dad. And my father and I, we were very fortunate. We won a bunch of championships up north, and a bunch of races, and he taught me the regimency you needed to run in a weekly series and be competitive year in and year out, and so I did a lot of stuff.
This is a good move,
but ultimately, what ended up happening, Dale, is the company I was working for in Lumberton. They gave me a choice. They said, "Look, where you're at right now," and I worked in the factory. Man, we were building corrugated pipe. Advanced drainage system. That black corrugated pipe with the green stripe? Like I worked in the factory building this pipe. Loading trucks, just hard work. Like these guys worked their butts off. And I didn't want to do that. So they said, look, we'll give you an opportunity. You can go to Ohio and be an engineer, or you can go to Georgia and learn how to be a plant manager, and we'll take you through the system. And, you can be a plant manager by the time you're 23 years old.
Up next,
and for a guy from Rockford who doesn't have a lot of money, never had a lot of money, being a plant manager sounded like a pretty cool deal. And I'm like, I just don't know if I want to do that. So I took the engineering role and moved up to Ohio, Cleveland, and I did that for about 6 months. And I wasn't an engineer; I was self-taught. But what I gave those guys was I had a mechanical mind, but I had the hands where I could build things. So I could take them from concept to paper to prototype, and then hand it off to production.
It's a ground ball the other way.
So I worked for a while, and I was there for about 6-8 months. And look, I'll be honest, man. They kept on. The engineering department was growing and growing and growing, and all these folks that were coming in, they didn't draw like I did. I drew with pencil and a piece of paper, and they were all drawing on computers. So this is going to be good for me, and honestly, I didn't really like it, so I moved back to Illinois.
And do you think your career pursuit of racing and NASCAR is over at this point, or are you just saying this is just a pit stop? I'm going to get back.
I was thinking at that point when I took that job that maybe the racing thing isn't what I want, but I knew I didn't want to work in a factory. I didn't want to go back to Illinois and work in Bowman Bolts or Rockford Screw Products.
So you're going through a process of elimination.
Yeah, trying to figure out what I'm going to do. So I went back to the Midwest, and I was working with my dad and some other race teams up there. Things were going pretty good, and then I got a call from Butch Hilton, who I'm sure you guys know him. He's crew chief on the Truck Series, did some Xfinity stuff, some Cup stuff. He was working with Stanley Smith, and so Butch Hilton was there, Joe Shearer Jr. was there, and I knew both of those guys were racing in the Midwest. And I got the opportunity to go down there, and what an amazing 2 years of my life at this point.
Yeah.
It was, man, we raced everything, right? Everything. Cup. What was then? Busch Grand National, Sportsman, late models. We did it all, man. It was like 6 of us. But the crew that we had was what's amazing. I mentioned Butch and Joe. We had Felipe Lopez.
Yeah.
We had Ronnie Crooks. We had Todd Foster. And I know there's another one that I'm forgetting right now. But we had, like, everybody that was on that team ended up coming to Charlotte and being pretty prominent people in the series, which is really cool. And that was how I got down here full time.
So you're working with them. What was the team after that? What was your move from?
So I went to the 24 car right after Stanley Smith.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that after Stanley's accident?
So no, that was actually the last. That was the last car that I built for Stanley. Is the one that he crashed at Talladega, which was awful. So we went to Atlanta in '92, and that was a big deal. That was Gordon's first race, King's last race, and the 24 was actually parked right next to us. So I'm at the 49 car, Stanley. Man, these guys show up. They got this hotshot kid driver, and all their equipment's brand new. And their toolbox is brand new, and all these guys are high and tight. Man, I'm a greaseball racer doing whatever I can to get the 49 car to make the race, right? And I was like, one day I'd love to work on that team, right? What a cool deal to work at Hendrick Motorsports. We went through the winter and started racing again, and Stanley started to run out of money. So, man, one day at lunch, I went home at lunch, and I was living in a single wide trailer on Stanley Smith's property. This is where I live, man.
Yeah.
It was where I did the body work on our race cars, hung the body, did the body work, was in my garage at the single wide trailer, right? And we used for the heat was a propane heater. The little turbo heater guy. I can tell you how many times I would roll out of there sick from body filler dust and the kerosene fumes and all of that. It's a wonder I didn't die. But nonetheless, I went home for lunch one day, and I'm going to call. I'm just going to call. So I called Hendrick Motorsports. And they pick up, and nice lady says Hendrick Motorsports. And I said, yeah, may I speak to Ray Evernham? And she said, hold, please. And I was like, there ain't no way this is going to happen, right? And next thing, this is Ray. And I was like, oh, my goodness. And I said, hey, Mr. Evernham, my name's Chad Canals. I work with Stanley Smith. I'd love an opportunity to talk to you about coming to work on the 2014. And he's... And I don't know how many folks really know Ray that well, but he went through a lot of employees and teammates at that time. And he said, well, it just so happens I fired a guy today. When can you be here?
No kidding.
Swear to God. True story. So I was like, I said, tomorrow? And he said, all right, I'll see you at 7:30. It's noon in Talladega. We were living in Chelsea, Alabama. It's noon there. And I'm thinking, all right, how am I going to get to Charlotte for 7:30 a.m. now, and I'm working for Stanley.
Yeah.
We only have my girlfriend's car. She's in college. I got to somehow, we can cell phones, right? I got to somehow get a hold of her, get her back home so I can get the car, and then I got to figure out what I'm going to tell Stanley that I'm not going to be at work. And so I went, and I feel really bad about this, and I love my grandmother to pieces, love her to death. And I walked back into work, and I said, Stanley, I said, look, man, I got to go back to Wisconsin. My grandmother's not feeling very well. And he's like, oh my gosh, go. He said, are you flying? I'm like, no, I'm going to drive. And he's like, man, that's a long time. You sure? And I'm like, yeah, I got it. So I got a hold of my girlfriend. She was actually working in a donut shop at the time. I left school, went to the donut shop. I called her, and she came home, and I took the car, and I drove. Got there at about midnight, maybe 1 o'clock in the morning, slept in the parking lot of Hendrick Motorsports.
Wow.
And
wow.
So, and I remember, I didn't sleep a bit, right? I'm in the front seat of a Ford Probe, right?
Probably looking like you just, like a piece of laundry.
Man, it was awful,
covered
right?
out of this.
It was awful. And I can remember the sun coming up the next day, and I'm watching all these guys pull into Hendrick Motorsports. Man. Watching, and like 7:25, I'm like, all right. So I grabbed a shirt that I had thrown in the back and made sure I didn't wrinkle up that shirt, right? I put it on, and I had a cup from a fountain drink in the cup holder, and I took the water from it, put that through my hair, and tried to look reasonable, brushed my teeth a little bit, and I walked in, and I got to meet Ray. I sat in with him, man, and it was a great conversation. He asked me what I could do, and Dale, I told him, I was like, man, I do a lot. I'm not great at anything, but I can do a lot. My background and my history and back and forth. And I said, look, I like you. He said, I like where you've been. I like your background. I like I can see your intensity. He says, where do you want to be in 5 years? And I just looked at him and I said, in 5 years, I want your job.
Ooh.
And
people don't usually like that very much.
And straight away, he said, you're hired. And that was it. And now, I was pretty far away from his job when I walked in the door. Let me tell you that. When I started, I was a body shop assistant. So I worked in the back room in the body shop, sweeping the floors and painting and taping up cars.
Couple things here. One, they beefed up the security at Hendrick Motorsports a lot since then. You can't just call and get the crew chief, nor can you sit and sleep in the parking lot either, can you? Two things that we can be sure they do not let you do anymore.
That's true. That's true.
Wow. That's really, it's such a great story, but it's even more unique now because of your promotion.
Yeah.
You know, and going into the manager role, which everybody probably assumed was going to happen. I doubt you had any assumptions, but everybody just assumes like with your success there and your ability to sort of put the right people in the right places, that's kind of what the guy at the top needs to be doing and what he needs to be good at. But to be able to basically stand in a prominent manager role at Hendrick and tell anyone that walks in there, look, this is the commitment that I made. This is what I did to get the first opportunity here. Do you have that? Right? Do you have that? Because a lot of guys will ask you to work hard, but when they tell you what their story is, and golly,
that guy don't know how to work hard.
Right.
Who's he at? Who's he telling?
He don't
he telling me?
Yeah.
Well, people come from different backgrounds, and look, mine was, my path was unique. It really was. When I first moved to Chelsea to work with Stanley Smith, I slept on Butch Hilton's sofa. Like he had so many people helped me get to where I'm at, man, and it's the honest to truth. Like I literally, so Butch had a 2-bedroom apartment. It says he and his wife and his 2 kids in the 2 bedrooms, and me sleeping on his sofa, and he drove me back and forth to work every single day. And we worked. Sun up to sundown, man, and we piled in a dually with a trailer. We drove a race car from Chelsea, Alabama to Phoenix, Arizona with a dually pickup truck and an open trailer to go race.
Yeah.
Right? But I guess what I'm saying is like there's just been so many folks that have helped me get there that I worked really hard, but man, there's so many opportunities that came up.
So you worked at the 24 car for how long? Because you didn't stay there.
No, I didn't. Started in middle of 93, left at the end of 97, right
Why?
after. Well, your father. He, Felipe Lopez, whom I worked with at Stanley Smith's, he approached me when he was going to be crew chief at your dad's place for Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. So this was middle of 97. We were going and battling for the championship with the 24 car. And Philippe and your father courted me and asked me if I would come to this new position, which was car chief. Like
there was no car chiefs.
There was no car chiefs then. There was like the head mechanic, and the crew chief. That was kind of it. And they wanted me to come and help, build the team and the cars and get the shops, set up and run. I mean, it was just an open building really at that point coming together, right?
But what were you